Hi, I'm Marilyn Hall. Today I'm going to show you how to make a flowered hair wreath. And if you follow my instructions, you can make a hair wreath to match every one of your dirndls. So whether your dress is this color, red, white, and blue, purple and pink, orange and green, pink and black, blues, turquoise, or beautiful greens, and whatever color your dress is, go get a variety of flowers. So you might want to get something that's got a lot of greens in like this and mix it with something like this so that you end up having different textures, different colors, and different size flowers. I would say get at least one bunch of each kind. You might want to pick out some ribbons to match your flower. These spools of ribbon are about $1 each. Sometimes you can get them a lot cheaper. And I would get maybe 3 different colors or 3 different types. In addition to your regular ribbon, you might want to consider getting some of this sparkly silver or gold wired ribbon. It has wire on either side. It takes on the shape of a marker or some kind of a rod if you want to make a cute little curly Q on your ribbon. Comes in thick and thin. You're going to need a product that's called floral tape. It's kind of stretchy and kind of waxy. Very, very important thing is your wire. You'll need 3 pieces to make a flowered hair wreath. I take 2 pieces that are each 18 inches long, and I overlap them in the middle by about, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches, and I make it into one continuous long piece that's covered with floral tape. I don't like to start with a roll that's really long because it's too curly to work with, so I prefer these long pieces. The reason why I'm using 3 pieces is there's 2 to make the basic hair wreath, the frame sort of to put all the flowers on, and the 3rd piece is to snip into little pieces to maybe attach your ribbons or to do some other things with along the way. So, you know, having two extra ones would be great. You need wire cutters. Do not use your scissors to cut the wires. I've done that before, or I should say the kids have, and it kind of ruins your scissors. So just use wire cutters to cut the wires, and you probably need some kind of pliers or needle nose pliers, something like that, to twist the wire. To start my flowered hair wreath, I will take 2 pieces of 18-inch long 22 gauge floral wire, and I'll just take one of them in my hand at a time. I'll take some of this floral tape and I lay it so that it's over the wire, and with my left hand I kind of pinch it onto the end of it, and I'm holding this floral tape so that it comes off the bottom, and with my left hand I pull my thumb towards the left and it starts winding the floral tape around, and I just let it unwind, and I slowly advance my way up the wire, just slowly unrolling it as I go. When I get to within a few inches from the end, my hands are getting really warm and it's kind of melting the wax. When I get to within about 5 inches from the end, I've just been unrolling this the whole time. When I get to almost the end, like this, then I'll take the second wire and I'll lay it right on top of the first wire, and I'll start wrapping the tape around both of them together, which will connect them. As I do that, I just start twisting. I'm pulling my thumb, this thumb on the left hand, just pulling it towards the left, and it just winds the 2 of them together. And this whole thing is going to be probably about 30 inches when I'm all done winding these 2 wires together. Something along the line of 30 inches. And so I'm just going to keep going till I get to the end. So here I go. I'm at the end now. Just rip it off with my hand, just wind it around the end, and it doesn't matter if it kind of trails off or whatever, it's just fine. Just make sure that it's always twisted the same direction, and you go through and get it nice and tight. So I'm going to take my little wire cutters, or you don't have to in this case, because this one, they just kind of pop off. So if you have some that can kind of pop off like that, you can just remove them and set them on a table that you're using to line up all your parts for your wreaths. Now I'm going to make 2 hair wreaths out of these flowers, and so I'm going to kind of split all the flowers up between them, and this one also does the same thing, kind of just pops off. For a little contrast in these, I'm also going to use these little white flowers. Just going to pull them off the stem just like I did with the others. Before I get ready to make the wreath, I'm going to lay them out kind of in a pattern. So I've got the big pink ones with a lot of fluffy things, and a little smaller one and some white. Oh, I'm going to stick some black in there. And I might kind of go around. This will be the back of the head, the side, and then we'll get into the front. So you want to make sure that you have things kind of balanced, color-wise and texture-wise, and a lot of times in the front you want to have a little more pretty things that oh, I need some more black here, so I'll go through and I'll maybe put some black right here. And if I'm going to have two different kinds of black, I might intersperse them different places. Like I've got these leaves, I might put a leaf here and then maybe put one here so that they kind of repeat. You don't want to have just one black leaf show up and not have any other black leaves. And after I get enough that looks like it adds up to around, let's see, 25 inches, something like that, I usually just kind of gauge when I'm ready. I'll just put a variety of flowers here and make sure that I've got a little bit of black, a little bit of white, and that's about how much. But since I'm making two of them and they're going to match because they're for a mother and a daughter for a dance that they're going to do together, I'm going to try to do the same thing for the second dress. Sometimes when I'm making a flowered hair wreath, there's just an unusual color and I don't have flowers. Like for instance, sometimes I short on black flowers. I'll take a black ribbon, which is very common, maybe wind it a couple times around my fingers like this. Take a piece of wire. This particular one, I'm just going to cut it so that the wire is maybe 4 inches long, something like that. And then maybe fold the ribbon, so I kind of folded it all down. And then I'm going to take these two wires and I bend them up this way. And you can do it with your hands if you can. And if it's too much, like if your wire's a little too thick, you want to get maybe a needle nose plier or some kind of tool and grip the ribbon and just kind of twist it till it's pretty tight. So it looks like a little clump of flowers pretty much. And if you don't have enough flowers, you can use a little clump of ribbon like this wherever you needed to have black. And of course, if you have a little tail hanging off, you might want to snip that off. And you can just go ahead and put this into the flowered hair wreath wherever you want to. I do that with unusual colors. So right now it looks like I've got everything laid out pretty much how I want. These white flowers, maybe I'll put one down here. And it looks kind of like I'm ready to go. Now I've already covered my wire with floral tape. And the way I do it is I hold the wire like this in my left hand and I undo this floral tape with my right hand. And I take it and I start maybe about 4 or 5 inches from the end. And the way that I've wrapped this, I'm going to wrap it the exact same way so that I twist it with my left hand. I always just pull my thumb in like this, twist it a little bit. I take my first clump of flowers. Now this particular one has like 3 stems. I'm going to kind of stick the stem underneath the floral tape here, like that, and kind of attach it to the main wire. And then I'll wrap the floral tape around it, like this, a few times around. You kind of get used to how you like to hold your floral tape. And then after I wrapped it around the stem a couple times, then I'm going to wrap it a little bit more till it's pretty snug. And I just wrap this floral tape around, and with my fingers I hold with my left hand the ones I've already put on. Then I take the next flower, in this case it's going to be this pink one, and I would lay it on the stem. And I do it so that they're not right on top of each other. It's maybe an inch after the first white one. And then I'm going to take this floral tape and I just wrap it around the stem a little ways on the first part of the flower. Now these particular ones, they're kind of far apart. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick something in between them. I think I'll take this little piece of black and I kind of separate the blossoms a little bit and wrap the floral tape around it. And I go between the flowers a little bit, which anchors them in really well. And then I wrap up the stem a little bit. And then now this pink one, I can kind of decide if I want it to kind of go off to the left or the right. And I think I'm going to have it go the opposite direction than the original one went. And that looks kind of nice. So now I've got a white, a black, and this darker pink. Now I'm going to go to this smaller pink flower. One is small and one is lighter colored than the other. I'm going to put those in right there. And that'll be kind of my pattern. I might do a white, a black, a big one, and a small one, and sometimes I change and get irregular. It's okay. It doesn't have to be a real set pattern, and you just kind of have some fun with it. Next one I'm putting in is white. Sometimes in the same one I'll have, two different white types of flowers with different textures, and that's just fine too. I really enjoy kind of changing it up. And I don't do mine terribly dense, so that each flower kind of stands out a little bit. And if you do your flowers right on top of each other, it kind of just looks like a mass of flowers, and it kind of is like filling a vase just chock full of flowers. It's better sometimes to separate them a little bit and kind of enjoy each flower a little on their own. So now I've got my little pattern flowing really nice. And I'll do another one of these big ones. Now this one's a little different color than the original one that I put at the beginning. And sometimes I'll hold it down, and this hand, the right hand, is always unwinding the floral tape. And the way I've got it here is it unwinds from the back side, and I just kind of wrap the tape around and it unwinds as I do that. That's how my hand just kind of likes to do it. You might have your own way of holding it. And so my left hand is constantly holding the part that I've already done. Now this floral tape, you can just tear it anytime you want and wrap it around, and it's waxy and it just sticks. Now when I've done that, I'll say, I need some more flowers up here, and I might just start the floral tape again, just get it going again. It just sticks to itself, the waxiness in it, the heat of your hands as you twist it kind of makes it adhere. And I just think I'm going to put a little black flower here that kind of goes off to the left. And then I'm going to go ahead and wrap around. And you want to wrap the stems down pretty firm, but I don't make my wires too thick. I just like them a little bit thinner. And I've seen a lot of flowered hair wreaths, and people do them all different ways, and that's just fine. I'm going with this little one again that has the dark pink and the light pink. You want to make sure as you look at it that you don't have any kind of empty spots on your wreath. So for instance, you see it's pretty thick down here, and then all of a sudden here it gets really thin. I'm going to break off my floral tape right there, and I'm going to add some more flowers here because it looks a little bit sparse. And I again just keep using the floral tape, and the floral tape is really nice that it can cover any little sharp edges that you might find. If you have a really bad sharp edge, then you should take your needle nose pliers and twist that wire until it kind of goes into the floral tape here, so that it won't accidentally poke anybody, because it's not very fun to wear a flowered hair wreath that causes pain. Okay, so this is really a fun, creative little outlet as you're going along, making it to match your dress. And if you want to, it's kind of fun to have your dress nearby to look at it and kind of say, oh, I guess I do have a little bit of silver there. Maybe I'll add a little clump of silver. Once I figured out kind of how to hold this I just leave the whole wreath off to the left, and as I wrap this around, that has really made it easier for me to keep it from unwinding, because if you've wrapped your floral tape around your wire one direction and then you end up kind of untwisting it, it can end up kind of falling apart. Now that I put my last flower on, I just went ahead, the stem is off to the right, and I'm just winding the floral tape around a few more turns, and then I'll tear it off and just kind of make sure it's nice and firm. And now I'm going to basically take the whole flowered hair wreath, and I'm going to take these two wire ends. Now, of course, they're pretty long. Each one is maybe 6 inches, the other one's 4, something like that. And I'm going to overlap them in the back. I'm going to overlap them and twist it a little bit and have them come back upon themselves. So this one, I folded it and intertwined it with the other side, and now I'm going to just take it and I'm wrapping it around the stems in the back. Really holds on really tight that way. And the only thing is you want to make sure that the end of your wire isn't left poking anywhere into someone's scalp. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do that on both sides. And sometimes there's a couple flowers that stick out a little bit funny. I'll just take advantage of that wire and use it to kind of anchor those guys down, the ones that are sticking out funny. Okay, so my hair wreath is fairly complete, but not yet, because I have one more thing I want to do. I'm going to go over now to my ribbon making table. So I come over here to my ribbon table, and I have a box of ribbon here, and I've got a little spool of ribbon and some more ribbons here. So now with my flowers in hand, I'm going to look at my ribbons, and I know my dress is black, pink, and it even has a little bit of yellow. Okay, to make my little bundle of ribbons, I took about a yard of several kinds of ribbon. I have this pink with the little things coming out. I don't know what those are called. Just a regular satin ribbon that's about a 1/4 inch. I have a wired shiny silver ribbon, and I'll show you in a minute why I like those so much. And then I have a white one with the little pokey things on the side. I have a black silk one, a little skinny 1/8 inch pink one, and a variety of ribbons. Okay, so now I'm holding them with the short, I think I've got about a foot of it hanging on out of my hand on the left, and then the most of it hanging on the right. And I'm going to take that ribbon like this and make a little loop around my hand like that. And then I kind of even out where the ribbons are pretty much the same on both sides. And then I'm going to pinch it right in the middle with my hand, and pinch it in the middle of this little thing I just did. And I'll take a piece of wire. So I've got a little piece of wire here, and I'll put it right in the middle of that place where I've gathered the ribbons, okay? Then I'm going to fold it down like this, and I'll fold this wire backwards towards the right, and I'm going to twist it a few times with my bare hands. And because I'm not that good at twisting it tight, I'm going to use this needle nose plier to twist it more. If I don't do that, sometimes the ribbons can slip out. So I've got sort of like little rabbit tails here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut those off. There's a couple inches maybe hanging on each side. So now I've got this little clump of kind of like a bunch of little bows hanging, and I'm going to kind of prop them open, I should say, not prop them, open them up. The wired ones, you kind of put your fingers in, you can shape it to do whatever you want. Okay, so now I'm going to take this with the two little tails, find the back of my flowered hair wreath, which is right where I joined the pieces right here. I'm going to just lay this on top of it, and I'm going to bend the wires off to the right. So if you had them 4 or 5 inches, that'd be okay, because it just goes and kind of gets buried into the hair wreath. And you just want to make sure, again, that those little ends, which are very sharp, that they don't end up out where they'll poke somebody in who's wearing them. And just wrap them around a little bit. And if you want, you could even take more floral tape and wrap the floral tape over the exposed ends to make them even more softened in so no one could get poked. Okay, then after you get that whole thing on there like that, I take a marker. In this case, I've got like a Crayola marker. It's about a 1/2 inch diameter. And I'll take these little ribbons that are wired, and I'll hold it in one hand, wrap it around the marker, or you could wrap it around a pencil or something you have that's round, and go all the way to the end, and then gently remove the marker, and see that cute little thing hanging? Now if you want, you can pull it down a little bit and make it a little bit less coiled, and get the other end too. Now when I put mine away at the end of the year, I just fit them as tightly as I can into a covered plastic box, and all of the ribbons get a little bit messed up, but when I pull them out, I just put them around the marker again and straighten them up, and then they're all okay and beautiful. Okay, now I take the marker out, and here is my little flowered hair wreath, and it looks really cute. You've got a little clump of ribbon in various colors here, and you can kind of fix it a little bit more if you want, and they've got the different little tails hanging different sizes and different lengths and different textures. They're really comfortable, and if somebody should bump your head or something, it doesn't hurt like it would if you're wearing a headband, like flowers glued to it or something. Okay, I'll show you a few dresses with flowered headbands.
Our streets are filled with noise, happy sounds are everywhere. The party has begun, so put away your cares. It's dance time. It's dance time. Yo-lo-de-lay-hee-hoo. It's dance time. It's dance time. It's dance time. It's dance time.
Well, I'm all done making my flowered hair wreaths, and I think they're going to look great with my pink and black dresses. Now it's your turn to make a flowered hair wreath. When you're ready to go, take your fabric with you so you can pick out the exact colors you need, and just go wild and get some flowers and some berries and all sorts of things and make it really a one of a kind. If you want to, I have some written instructions, which I will email to you if you'd like to see something on paper. It's got all the supplies and everything you need to make a flowered hair wreath. Good luck and subscribe to my channel.